Hey guys, welcome to my channel. If you don't know me, I'm Nigel, aka UKBIGCHUBS Mounjaro journey. I started a GLP-1 back in November. I initially started on a 2.5 for 4 weeks, and then I went up to 5 milligrams, which I stayed on for around about 3 months, and for the last 2 months I've been on 7.5. That seems to be working okay at the moment, so I will probably stay on the 7.5 for quite a while whilst it's working. But today I basically want to give you a 6-month review of my weight loss trials and tribulations, or what's happened over the last 6 months. I'm not going to keep you waiting until the end to find out about my weight. So I will tell you now. If you want to listen to what I've lost and then go off at somewhere else on YouTube into that rabbit hole, then feel free. Or if you want to stop to the end, also feel free. I started this channel basically because there seems to be a lot of people out there who need to lose maybe a stone or two, but there isn't that much focus on people who need to lose an awful lot of weight. So my idea is, if you're somebody who's 10, 15 stone overweight, you're classed as obviously clinically obese, your journey is going to be a lot longer than anyone else's journey. That's not to take anything away from anybody else's journey. However, at times, I suppose it can be frustrating when you see someone who's got like a stone to lose and they lose 7 or 8 pounds, and people are already noticing that and complimenting them on their weight loss. And it makes your journey just feel so much longer. But like any journey, you have to start somewhere. So I started at the beginning. I started like everybody, I had the same advantage. Start from the beginning. The only way is up, hopefully down in weight. Started November the 1st when I took my first injection. On my first weighing day, I weighed a total of 466 pounds, which is 33 stone 4 pounds, or 211 kg. So 33 stones, that's a lot of weight. 6 months in, I am now at 382 pounds, which is 27 stone 4 pounds, or 173 kg. And in 6 months, I've lost a total of 6 stone. So yes, I'm really, which is around about 84 pounds. I'm not sure on kg, but 6 stones, 84-pound loss. So on average, I'm actually averaging losing around about a stone a month, 14 pounds a month. So I'm quite happy with that. Clothes-wise, I've gone from wearing a 9 or 10 XL t-shirt, yes, they do exist, clothes that big, to a 5, 6 XL t-shirt. So that's been really good as well. I think I'll talk a little bit about the non-scale victories as well of going on a GLP-1 and losing weight in general. There seems to be a lot to mention, but I think of a few that I can think on the top of my head. The non-scale victories for me have been, the most important probably was obviously the lack of food noise, not having that consistent food noise all the time. So that's great. But one of the probably secondary ones for me is the lack of inflammation. I would wake up before when I was at my largest which is no surprise. Being so overweight, you'd expect to have physical pain. But I would wake up every day with a constant back pain. Out of 10, 10 being the most painful, most days it was at a good 7 or 8. Most days now, I'd say my pain is between a 1 and a 2. It's more of a little niggle than like a real uncomfortable pain. So that's a benefit for me. Definitely a non-scale victory. Also, it's very basic as well. I've mentioned this before in my previous videos, but being able to put the seatbelt on comfortably. Even now, I get into the car to put the seatbelt on, and I go to lift my tummy up to tuck the seatbelt under my tummy, because that's the only way the seatbelt would fit me before, was literally having to lift my stomach up and put it underneath. Whereas now I can put the seatbelt right across, and I still can't get used to that. It makes me smile every time I realise I don't have to lift my belly up to be able to put a seatbelt on. Not being out of breath, that's a good thing. More energy. This is a funny one as well. Your manhood being a little bit bigger, because some of that does get lost in the padding, I'm afraid. So that'd be a benefit for the guys. Hey, it could also be a benefit for some of the women as well. But yeah, that one made me laugh. But it's true. I remember reading it on Facebook, and no, that makes it true because I read it on Facebook. Let me reword that. I was reading on a Facebook groups, and they were talking about non-scale victories, and one of the guys had put that his manhood was slightly bigger because of losing the weight. That made me chuckle, but hey guys, it's true. It does get bigger, that's a win-win for me. I think have I spoken about my clothes? Yeah, I spoke about my clothes. Going down from a 10XL to a 5XL. In respect of jeans, I've gone down from a 60 waist in jeans to a 44 waist. So that's huge as well. Really pleased with that. I celebrated my birthday right at the beginning of May, and I decided to go out with my bestie. We was out all day, and we'd also planned to go out in the evening. And when we thought about food, I decided, wrongly or rightly, that we would have a takeaway. I've not even had any takeaways since starting this journey, and I wasn't going to beat myself up. I thought it's my birthday, it's going to be more convenient for us just to grab something quick to eat, and that's fine. So we went and had a couple of drinks, had a couple of double whiskies. I'll get onto the alcohol later on because that was an interesting one for me. So I just had a burger and the burger and chips, and it was fine. It tasted okay. It didn't give me the same joy and maybe excitement as what a takeaway would have given me in the past. It felt like just mediocre and convenient food, so that was fine. That particular night, I had 2 double whiskies. I'm not a big drinker, and probably only ever drink maybe on a birthday, Christmas, or a celebration of some sort. What I found interesting with the drink was, normally I could have a good 7 or 8, even 9 double whiskies, and I could tolerate it quite easily. But after having 2 whiskies, it was like I didn't want any more alcohol, and I actually switched to water, which was really surprising. I think it surprised me more because there are a few people who do drink or enjoy a drink and have started the GLP-1, I've spoken about they've lost interest in alcohol, or they've cut back their alcohol so much whilst being on a GLP-1. And whilst I'm not a big drinker, I just found it really interesting that after a couple of whiskies, I'd lost total interest. So anyway, that night when we got back to my bestie's place, I had really bad, severe stomach cramps. I had not experienced stomach cramps like this before, ever. I would say it lasted for about an hour or so, but it was really painful, and it was so difficult to go to sleep with having such pain. I took some, I think it was Pepto, to try to help my stomach, and managed to fall asleep, and thankfully the discomfort had gone the following morning. The following evening, again, we went out, we went to a club to celebrate my birthday. Again, I had a couple before we went to the club, we actually went to have a Chinese meal in a restaurant. Again, it was we went for a set menu. It just felt easier than trying to work out what we wanted to eat. And again, it's like the portion sizes, there was quite large portion sizes, but I only ate like a quarter of the rice, and they brought out a whole dish of like dumplings and spring rolls and appetizer type food. And my friend was quite happily to eat most of it. And I just had a couple of spring rolls and some rice, and I found myself getting really full up really quickly. I think the annoying thing about that is I think the meal cost like £40, and there's no way I ate £40 worth of food at all. I appreciate, obviously, some of that is their profit and having the luxury of eating in a restaurant, etc. But I probably feel like I only ate around about £10 worth of food, but paid a £40 for this meal. Again, went clubbing after the meal, 2 whiskies, and I was done. Back onto the water. And just like the previous night, 2 to 3 hours later, really bad, severe stomach cramps. I think what surprised me about that most is like, it just shows that since day one, I've been really consistent with eating healthy, and actually enjoying it, and not had any takeaways or fried food or anything with lots of fat or salt or preservatives in it. So my stomach really does not like takeaways, which I'm quite pleased about, considering I was a guy who was having a takeaway 3, 4, 5 times even a week. So that's quite a big achievement. My future goals. I think my future goals, before I talk about my future goals, is I have to remind myself probably at least once a week, because we can all have times when we have such a big journey that it just seems to take forever. But in some respect, these 6 months have flown by, and I've lost 6 stone, and I remind myself that it never went on overnight, so it's not going to come off overnight. Realistically, I'd like to set a goal to lose another 4 stone by Christmas, so that that should be easily achievable, considering I've already lost 6 stone in 6 months. But I want to try to be realistic and not put too much pressure on myself. So if I was to lose another 4 stone by Christmas, that would give me a total loss of 10 stones, which would be absolutely awesome. To be in that position a year down the road, to be 10 stone lighter. and that would help me celebrate a year of being on a GLP-1. I'm not sure what else to say. I mean, just know that you're not alone. If you're a big guy or a big girl and you think it just seems too much because you weigh too much, we have to start somewhere, and just start at the beginning like everybody else. And those people will start a different phase of their journey. They'll be looking at maintenance and keeping the weight off. And for a lot of people, that can be, from what I've heard, and I've heard other YouTubers talk about it, that can actually be more difficult sometimes than actually losing the weight, trying to maintain your goal and where you've reached. So that's my 6 months. I hope you like the video. Feel free to like, subscribe, hype me up. I'll also drop a link in there to where I get my meds from. And if you want to buy me a coffee to celebrate my 6 months, I'll make sure it's a skinny latte. And I wish you all the best. Lots of love. Bye.